Good morning, everyone. My name is Sterling Kiga, Chairperson of the Authority. I'd now like to call to order the March 4th, 2026 Kaka'ako Authority meeting of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. The time is now 11:05 a.m.
Thank you, Chair. In accordance with Section 92-3.7 Hawaii Revised Statute, the Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's Kaka'ako board meeting virtually on Zoom. The Zoom link details were included on the meeting agenda. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom and also at our physical meeting site at the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. The HCDA communications staff is hosting this meeting. Once this meeting begins, everyone will be muted for clear audio. Board members, if you have any comments or questions, please unmute yourselves to speak. It is important that all individuals clearly state their name, pseudonym, or other identifier name each time prior to speaking. If you wish to provide oral testimony and you please indicate so by clicking the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen. If you're attending in person, you will be called to the front of the order that you signed up. Before you begin your testimony, we ask that you identify yourself and spell your name for the record. Your testimony must be related to an item on the agenda. All testimony will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. When time has elapsed, the time will be called out, after which you'll have 30 seconds to conclude your testimony, and then your audio will be turned off. If you're attending in person, the presiding officer will call the next testifier. Keep in mind that this is an opportunity to share your thoughts with us. If you ask questions during your testimony, neither the board nor the staff is required to provide an answer. If the authority's connection for the remote meeting is lost, the meeting will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be terminated and the authority will continue the meeting at another notice date. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. HCDA board members, please remain visible and audible during the meeting. Also, please acknowledge you are present by either saying here or present. Let the record reflect that the following members are present. Vice Chair Ishii.
Here.
Thank you. Secretary Lidstone.
Here.
Thank you. Member Miranda Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Member Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. Member Permiano.
Present.
Thank you. Member Streitz.
Here.
Thank you. Member China.
To leave.
Okay, Member China is excused, and Member Sakota.
Here.
You have quorum, Chair.
Thank you. For today's meeting, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions or provide comments after an agenda item has been presented. Individuals from the public who have requested to provide verbal public testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted to provide their testimony respectively. Moving now to agenda item number 2, approval of minutes. These are the regular meeting minutes of February 4th, 2026. Board members, any comments or corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. Agenda item number 3, decision making. This is to consider authorizing the executive director to enter into exclusive negotiations with Historic Hawaii Foundation, a Hawaii nonprofit organization, for the lease of the historic Kaka'ako pumping station located at 653 Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu Tax Map Key number 2-1-015063 to be used by the Historic Hawaii Foundation for office and educational purposes. Ms. Lindsay Doi, Asset Manager, will now present the staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Members, this report is under tab 2 of your packet, and it relates to the historic pumping station over in Kaka'ako, Makai. You may remember that it became vacant back in September when our previous lessee, Pacific Gateway Center, terminated their lease early. So since then, we have been actively looking for a new tenant. We put the property up on LoopNet to kind of cast a wide net to publicly advertise it. And we did get back a lot of interest from brokers and organizations. The majority, though, as previously mentioned with other properties, kind of fell out and they ended up not being really interested when we mentioned it is a historic property and it may come with some significant maintenance responsibilities. And we're primarily looking for a lessee who is capable to manage and maintain such a historic, important property. In your packets, you'll see the 2 proposals that we did receive by December 2025. We formed a committee pursuant to our HCDA leasing policy that you'll recall was previously approved by this board. And the committee is recommending the proposal by Historic Hawaii Foundation. I did want to mention that although there is a proposal outlined in this staff report and you have a copy of the proposal, today's action item is not related to approving that proposal. It's strictly limited to approving the executive director and staff to directly negotiate with Historic Hawaii Foundation. We want to further discuss the lease terms. We did have a few concerns, as mentioned in the staff report, about the HCDA responsibilities that are proposed. So again, today's action item would simply be to authorize exclusive negotiations with his Hawaii Foundation. If and when we get to some lease terms that we both agree on, we would then bring that back before this board for actual approval of those lease terms. I am joined by Kirsten Faulkner. She's the executive director of Historic Hawaii Foundation. Should there be any questions about that organization or their proposal? But again, as I mentioned, the proposal is just a proposal. We're primarily looking at them as an organization to negotiate with.
Great. Thank you, staff. Members, comments or questions for staff? Member Strikes.
I do appreciate the thoroughness of HHF's proposal. As far as the other one, the River Church of the Islands, I wasn't clear. Maybe I just overlooked at what they were proposing for monthly rent.
So the extent of what was in your packets was really the extent of their proposal. I tried to see if they could formulate it into something a bit more robust, but that's essentially what they provided. There is no rent provided with that proposal. It would essentially be the same $1 a year nominal rent.
Thank you.
Members, any other comments or questions? Okay, I have more of a comment. So if we authorize HCDA to enter into exclusive negotiations, my vote to approve this lease is contingent on some of the conditions here shifting. So if we are offering this lessee $1 a year nominal rent for a facility that the state has spent $2 million fixing the roof of, it would take 2 million years to recoup the cost of that repair, especially because the lessee is seeking a long-term lease of 35 to 50 years. Within those 35 to 50 years, there will be sort of structural issues that come up. Probably the roof will need another replacement. So if this lessee is serious about preserving this property, I would appreciate in their proposal that they have a plan for actually maintaining the facility. The current proposal is highly unfavorable to HCDA. For example, HCDA would be responsible if there were leaks or damage to the property. Given that this lessee is receiving an incredible deal at $1 a year lease rent, they are going to have to take substantial responsibility for the repair or pay something much more comparable to market rent. So I believe today we're just taking the action to authorize the agency to enter into negotiations, which I think is great. But I just want to state for the record that I will oppose any lease that does not have more favorable terms for the agency.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Noted.
Great. Members, any other comments or questions? Thank you.
Kevin Sakota, I just would reiterate that I agree with you, Chair.
Yep. Thank you, Member Sakota. Okay, we will move now to public testimony. Any persons pre-signed up for testimony? Any persons present or online wishing to provide testimony?
Chair.
Okay, let us move now to closing public testimony, and I will be searching for a motion or any comments or questions before I look for a motion. Okay, members, is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to enter into exclusive negotiations with Historic Hawaii Foundation, a Hawaii nonprofit organization, for the lease of the historic Kaka'ako pumping station located at 653 Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu Tax Map Key Number 2-1-015063 in accordance with the terms and conditions described in the staff report, and undertake all tasks necessary to effectuate the purpose of this for action. Do I hear such a motion? Is that moved by Vice Chair Ishii?
No, I have a question real quick.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Chair.
before we go to the motion, yeah. Vice Chair Ishii, please.
Chair, I didn't see a timeline date. So how long is this exclusivity of negotiation for in the motion?
That's a good question. There is no timeline right now, but if the board would like to propose a timeline, that's certainly welcome.
And I think, Vice Chair, for this property, which is vacant right now, I think, we're motivated to try to lease it up as quick as we can to make sure that the space is activated to the right party, the right responsible party. But if, board wants to entertain a kind of exclusive negotiations period, we can put that into the motion.
And I would add, Historic Hawaii Foundation has done some preliminary site inspections, but really they would also need to do their own due diligence before entering into any sort of LOI or lease terms. So I would just ask that it be long enough to accommodate those actions as well, since they will still need to do some things before agreeing to lease terms.
Could we ask you what a reasonable term would be?
Let's see. Kristen, do you have any? Currently,
Starting your roof.
construction, you mean? So we are undertaking, you may know, a capital improvement project, 2 million, for roofing repairs. Right now, we have that project, going out to bid for construction. So we don't have a selected contractor yet, but we hope to get one in the next few months, contract that person or that entity to do the project. I don't know how long actual construction will take because we still need permits. So if I had to guess, when the project would be completed, and it does call for a full re-roofing of that main building in the front, maybe at least a year, given permitting. So
we couldn't get in before that anyway, so.
that long. We could entertain, granted, this is all, subject to negotiations. We could entertain starting the lease early and then having the roofing project, go on if you're okay with it while you're in there, but we would still need to discuss that. So yeah, if you folks don't want to go in until after the construction project is completed, then it would be probably over a year from now.
So for the exclusive negotiation period, then like a year and a half?
Perhaps that would be safe.
Okay. And then obviously, if any extension of that is desired, you can always just come back to the board at any point in the year and a half to extend that. Or would you prefer it be 2 years?
I almost prefer it being shorter, with all due respect, because I think, we're gonna enter into it, negotiations, and I'd rather have a shorter period, because if the negotiations don't work out with Historic Hawaii Foundation, then we can move on to select another lessee or go through the process. As a general rule, I don't like to have exclusive negotiation periods going too long. And I think a year and a half is a little bit long. I mean, and the negotiations can take into consideration that the roof will be, repaired in the next number.
Yeah, so Craig, I guess Chair, my suggestion would be maybe X amount of days after the completion of the roof might be a solution.
But Vice Chair, would you be okay if we leave this one to the discretion of the staff? It seems like the staff is siding on the side of a shorter period,
Okay,
maybe shorter than anything we might recommend.
yeah. I'm fine with that. I just feel that just having it open-ended might put us in jeopardy.
Yeah. Understood. Noted.
No,
Okay, members, any other comments or questions? Yeah, and I'll just say for the comment, I would also prefer a shorter period. but I'll just look for the original motion. So is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to enter into exclusive negotiations with Historic Hawaii Foundation, a Hawaii nonprofit organization, for the lease of the historic Kaka'ako pumping station located at 653 Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu tax map key number 2-1-015063 in accordance with the terms and conditions described in the staff report, and undertake all tasks necessary to effectuate the purpose of this for action. Do I hear such a motion?
And should we add maybe with the time frame at the discretion of the time frame for the negotiations?
Can I just say enter into and exit?
Yeah.
Exclusive negotiations?
Yes, and with a time frame to be determined by.
Yeah, with a time frame to be, okay.
Determined by the.
Let me suggest a new motion.
Sorry.
Is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to enter into and exit exclusive negotiations with Historic Hawaii Foundation in a time frame to be, or a Hawaii nonprofit organization for the lease of the historic Kaka'ako pumping station located at 653 Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu tax map key number 2-1-015063 in a time frame at the discretion of the executive director and in accordance with the terms and conditions described in the staff report, and undertake all tasks necessary to effectuate the purpose of this for action.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Do I hear such a motion? Thank you, Member Strites. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin Sakota.
Seconded by Member Sakota. Thank you, members. Any further discussion on this motion? If not, we will ask Lindsay to take the roll call vote.
Members, the motion has been made and seconded. On that motion, Member Strites?
Aye.
Member Sakota?
Yes.
Vice Chair Ishii?
Yes.
Secretary Lidstone?
Aye.
Member Miranda Johnson?
Yes.
Member Anderson?
No.
Member Primiano?
Aye.
And Chair Higa.
Yes.
The motion passes with 6-8 in favor and 1 excused.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Next agenda item, this is to consider authorizing the executive director to implement a plan for Honua Kaha as follows. 1, to terminate the Honua Kaha Limited Partnership Agreement and procure a property management company. And 2, implement a longer-term ownership transfer for the 150 rental units and 1 manager's unit located at 545 Queen Street, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu tax map key number 2-1-031-021. Mr. Garrett Sasaki, Chief Financial Officer, will now present the staff report.
Morning, Chair, members. The staff report is included tab 3 of your packet. The proposal is basically to take the property management of Honoka in-house. There are conditions that, real estate transactions need a real estate broker. So we'll do it through procuring a property manager that has those licenses, but with control points built in so we can be actively engaged with the property. The reason for that is to reduce the vacancies, maintain affordability without compelling a property manager to do something. We'll just set the rental rates and just have a general stability for the project. Thank you, and available for questions.
Thank you. Members, any questions or comments for Mr. Garrett Sasaki? Seeing none, we will move to public testimony. Do we have any persons pre-signed up for testimony?
None, Chair.
Do we have any persons present or online who wish to provide testimony?
None, Chair.
Okay, we will close public testimony. Now, is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to implement a plan for Honua Kaha as follows? 1, to terminate the Honua Kaha Limited Partnership Agreement and procure a property management company. And 2, implement a longer-term ownership transfer for the 150 rental units and 1 manager's unit located at 545 Queen Street, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu tax map key number 2-1-031-021, and take all other necessary actions consistent with this for action. Do I hear such a motion?
We'll move, Kevin Sakota.
I hear movement by Member Sakota. Is that a second, Member Anderson?
Yes.
Seconded by Member Anderson. Members, is there any further discussion on the motion made by member Sakota and seconded by member Anderson? Seeing none, I'll ask Garrett to take the roll call vote.
On the motion, member Sakota,
Yes.
member Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ishii,
Yes.
member Lidstone.
Aye.
Member Miranda Johnson,
Yes.
member Primiano,
Aye.
member Straits,
Aye.
and Chair Higa.
Yes.
Motion passes with 8 yes, 1 excuse.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Garrett
Thank you.
Sasaki. Moving now to agenda item 4, report of the executive director. This is the monthly report and other status reports, including approved permit applications that did not require HRS 206E-5.6 public hearings. Executive Director Nakamoto will now provide his monthly report.
Thank you, Chair. The report is in tab 4 of your packet. Just want to provide some highlights. So the community, I think, is generally grateful for railing repair work that we're doing on the Kiwalo Basin stairs. Work started a few days ago and is expected to be completed on March 27th. This stairs provides access by body surfers to the point and is an important part of the park and access to the shore. For asset and land and property management, as you can see, we've gotten some interest in some buybacks at Ulana, and Lindsay is working with the Hawaii Homeownership Center and to effectuate those. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any comments or questions? Member Straits.
I just had a question for clarification on under the capital improvement projects, Ulani Valley Road Improvement Project proceeding despite no funding. I'm assuming that's just for planning and design approval.
It is, Member Straits, the next step in that is to submit design to the city. I think you have done that or we're gonna do that just to get approval on those designs. And then hopefully complete the planning and design process, and then at some future time, try to get legislative funding for that work.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Member Straits. Member Sakota.
Hold on a second. I just want to bring up the whole, the Mahana issue that we're going through and its relation to the dog park issues that are coming up. I mean, they're kind of separate, but it seems like people want to tag them together. And I kind of want to just get the HCDA board kind of on the same page as to where we stand on the dog park issue and what we can actually do. And if it's an opportunity for us to actually communicate with the community better, because we face the same issue with the Kolawala Dog Park, correct? And we actually, the HCD actually did something about that. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and get sort of our comments so that we can be on the same page.
Yeah, thanks, Member Sakota. I know that there's a vocal minority of dog owners, and they're opposed to the no dog policy in the Howard Hughes parks. And just for context, there's also contrary views about it. There's some who feel that not having dogs in the park allowing dogs in the park will, keep the park cleaner, improve the conditions for children on the playground equipment and so forth. So there's different views. There's also different views on what sort of dog policy is what people want. Some want an off-leash dog park. Some want a park that's just accessible to dogs, meaning they can be on a leash. For our part, Member Sakota, when I heard about that policy, and I was kind of stopped by several people while I was running in Ward Village about it, and I reached out to Doug Johnstone and asked him to try to find the solution and to kind of tie it into Mahana. There's as I mentioned, there's a pocket park that's on their plans. And the intent is to try to expand that pocket park to about 8 or 9,000 square feet for some kind of either dog accessible or off-leash dog park that's gonna be maintained by the association. Aside from those sort of remedies, Member Sakota, could take some regulatory view on that dog park, but I'd have to check with Ryan and see, is there some other kind of regulatory remedy that we have for that? It might be, although it might be somewhat draconian, if whatever remedy we have. But I guess my preference was to work with Doug Johnstone and try to provide some alternative at Mahana for dog park.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused as to what actually like enforcement, is going on, because it seems like it's written as if, you're walking your dog on a leash and you're getting like followed around and, so I'm not sure if that's going on or what's going on, but, there seems to be having a dog park at Mahana doesn't really address the issue. It's kind of a little bit of a solution, but it's not a major solution for people who just want to have their dogs on a leash walking through Ward Village. So that's what I want to clarify.
Yeah, so couple points to that, Member Sakota, I'm always trying to find a solution to these, and knowing that maybe try to get Howard Hughes to reverse the policy on the no dogs might be a little more challenging. I was hoping that a solution like providing another park in Mahana that's actually close to, when it's finished, close to the Malka Park might be a compromise solution, and I still hope the public views it that way. I too have heard about enforcement of this rule at Malka at the parks. I was at a town hall meeting the other night in Waikiki, and some people came up to talk to me about it, and it was reported that there's some aggressive enforcement that's going on by Howard Hughes security guards that includes, trespassing them. So I've asked Kailani and Doug, well, Kailani mostly, because Doug is out of town, but Kailani to look into those. Because I definitely don't think enforcement needs to be of that magnitude.
Right.
But I'm still hoping that the community will be favorable to this alternative solution that I think Howard Hughes is looking into, and I think their intent is to provide that. But it may not be a perfect solution, Member Sakota.
Right. Okay. Thanks. I know it's a hard, difficult issue, but it's a kind of a test to everybody kind of getting on the same page and coming up with a practical solution. Thank you.
Well, that's my suggested solution, Member Sakota, and we'll see if it works out. And I think Brian and his team will put that statement of Kailani into the DNO as a condition.
Thank you, Member Sakota. Secretary Litstone?
Yeah, I wanted to just see if I got it correct. Was Ward Village pet friendly earlier, and then rules have changed and it's no longer pet friendly? Or was it just never pet friendly?
Secretary Lidstone, I think when there was a time when there were dogs allowed, and now it's become no dogs allowed in the park. So it's a change in their policy. And the reason, so let me speak openly about it. I think it's their view that their experience with dogs being allowed in the park has showed that there's a lot of maintenance when you have dogs in a park. There's cleanup, there's all that maintenance. Plus, sometimes there's conflicts between dog owners, dogs, and non-dog owners. So that all factored into their decision. I'm not making a judgment on that, whether it was the right decision or not, but that's what I've heard. And that's what's led to the change in the decision about the parks.
Thank you for that. This is an interesting topic for me because I think the consequences are much bigger than that. And when something's pet friendly and then it's no longer pet friendly, people start to abandon their dogs, and many of these abandoned animals end up in Kalailoa with quite a bit and a growing population of abandoned animals roaming about in Kalailoa. And we catch them on our security cameras, people abandoning their animals. So it's, it's concerning if that's the case, but mahalo.
Yeah, and remember this, so just so I can add something else, Chair. So, I mean, besides the Ward Village, Mauka and Makai parks, of course, we have Kolowalu Dog Park that's available for dogs. Our Kolowalu Makai Park allows dogs on leashes. We also have, there's a dog park at Mother Waldron Park, an off-leash dog park. So they are available other venues for dogs and their owners to recreate with their dogs in Kaka'ako, just to note that.
Thank you, Secretary Lidstone. Member Sakota.
I just wanted to bring up again is that, in the hearing today, they tend to want to push off the responsibility to the Ward Village Owners Association, which is mainly controlled by Howard Hughes, I think, until sort of Ward Village is sort of up and running. But one of my concerns there is that, maybe the long-term solution is to get, better park maintenance. But what that's going to do is just drive up the expenses of the Ward Village Owners Association. So I want to just put that out there in the fact that, you kind of get what you pay for. So if you want more cleanliness in the park or security in the park, that's going to come back to Ward Village through the Ward Village Owners Association. So I don't hear too many people talking about that, and they think it's coming for free from Howard Hughes or coming for free from the state or whatever. But I just wanted to make that point that, that is going to become one day the responsibility of all the owners in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree, because if the pocket park is converted into a dog park at Mahana, Howard Hughes as an entity will not be maintaining it. They're gonna turn that over to, because Howard Hughes as an entity will not be around forever. So it's gonna be turned over to the Ward Village Association, Master Association for their maintenance. And yes, there's gonna be additional costs. So either way, whether you allow dogs at Mauka and Makai parks or you open up Mahana as a dog park, there's gonna be costs passed on to the owners.
Right.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
And we know about the cost of running Kolawala Dog Park.
I'm looking at Lindsay and I'm nodding, and yes, we know about those costs. So it comes as a significant cost. We know the cost of it. Yep.
Okay,
Members,
great. Thank you.
Thank you, Member
Thanks,
Sakota.
Member Sakota. Members, any other comments or questions? Just not speaking on behalf of anyone except myself, I think there are two issues I prefer that this board not get involved in, and I think this issue touches on both of them. So the first is a question of conflicts between owners and any sort of owners association. I don't think it's the purpose statutorily or philosophically for this agency to intervene in those kinds of conflicts. And so in this case and all cases, I'd prefer that we sort of stay out as much as possible. Whether or not these units were represented as having dog-friendly uses, and there's been some sort of misrepresentation, is a question for other agencies of the government to decide on. The second thing I don't think we should ever get involved in is legal enforcement. So whether or not the dog ban is being prosecuted in a way that conforms to the laws of the county and the state is a matter that I don't think this agency is responsible for, and people should be adjudicating with the appropriate law enforcement agencies. There is an open question that I think Director Nakamoto has said Mr. Ryan Tam is investigating, which is whether or not Ward Village's policy is consistent with the master plan that their project was developed under. Which I know that the agency is in the process of investigating just to sort of figure it out. So my general preference as an individual is that we would stick to adjudicating that question. And as a board would take no position or policy on the other sorts of matters, right? That we shouldn't take any positions when owners have disputes with owners associations, nor should we take positions on law enforcement matters or legal enforcement of bans and things. That's my personal preference.
I agree.
I agree as well, but the only caveat I would put on that is that to keep the HCDA's position as a community builder, right? So that's the only thing I would add.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yep, it's good. Members, any other comments or questions? All right, any persons pre-signed up will open public testimony. Any persons pre-signed up? Any persons present or online who wish to provide testimony?
None, Chair.
Seeing none, we will close public testimony. That was for information only. So thank you so much to all of the members of the board, the staff, the members of the public who came and joined us on Zoom or in person. That concludes our business for today. The meeting is adjourned. The time is now 11:41 a.m.
See all of you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
See all of you tomorrow.